Someone shot the food. Light force flooding out.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday, July the 13th, 2020. Boy, I have to keep reminding myself it's freaking July. July 13th, 2020, and this is your Mr. Video Game live super show brought to you by Dead Sun Entertainment. Everybody, say yeah. Everybody is here today. Of course, I'm Slacker Kite. I'm the guy who's going to be squinting at a monitor because his cat killed it, but regardless, I have people along with me, people that seem to like to come around at this time every week. I don't know what the hell that's about, but hey, we've got Brian, aka Wonderboy, in the chat tonight. How's it going, Brian?
Yeah, what's up? I don't know. That was dumb. Anyway, your cat's a destructor just like mine is. That's
Hell
cool.
yeah.
My cat decided to hang out with me while I watched New Japan on Saturday night, Sunday morning, the time paradox that is time zones, and decided to smack the TV whenever the wrestlers were doing their wrestle bits. My cat, not the one named after a wrestler, mind you, my lovely Max decided to jump up and watch a little bit with me, and then wanted to get involved in a match between two muscle boys, and I can't hate him for it.
Yeah, it sounds like he's getting into it. I mean, that's kind of what you want out of your friends, right? So that's cool.
Everyone that comes around me eventually gets into it.
I mean, on the good side, this laptop I've been using just for streaming. It's like maybe $200 if I try to sell it. It's really fucking old. So, destroyed something I really needed to throw away anyway. I was just too lazy to move my shit off of. Of course, we always got with us the beautiful, the lovely, the pleasant voiced Lindsay, aka Lady Merowyn. How you doing today?
I'm peachy, although pleasant voice. I don't know where you're coming from on that one, but I'll take it.
You're the one
Be
with
kind to
the
yourself.
yeah, you're the one with the professional like customer voice speaky time role. I haven't done that shit in 6 years. I don't remember how to anymore.
I
Oh,
just yell.
I got asked today during an interview, how long have you been doing call center and customer service work? And I went over a decade. And she went, I'm sorry, did you say over a decade? I'm like, yeah. She goes, oh, okay. I just needed to make sure that that's what you actually said.
Oh, we're terribly sorry for that in our heart of hearts because customers are assholes.
Nah, they're not all bad.
Some are fine, some. And I want to remind, hey, everyone out there in the audience, because of the generous donations from, of course, Lady Merowyn, but also primarily Coop and hugely Giant Pie, not only tomorrow will there be a history of the world where me and Brian are going to sit down and talk about the 50s and 60s in gaming. Holy shit, we're going way the fuck back for that. And Friday, I'm bringing Hollis and a special guest star. Ooh, into the talk about old ass cartoons from the 80s. And we're gonna watch some trailers and make fucking jokes for an hour. It'll be swell.
I'm into it. I wonder who the super special guest is.
Hmm. Could it be Sonic Fox, maybe? Oh, Jeff Keighley. Wouldn't it be cool to bring Jeff
Wait.
Keighley in?
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me that you got an advanced copy of Furry Fighters 4?
Hell yeah, I
Because
did.
because if you did and you didn't tell me, we're not friends anymore.
Wait, no, I didn't get a copy of Furry Fox 4.
All right, cool.
I'm
cool.
just gonna hide this behind the.
Cool. Send that to me through the Uplay store.
Oh, fuck.
Haha!
Oh.
Called synergy, Travis.
Oh, because
Called synergy between
Oh.
all of the endless presentations that we have seen.
I love you both so much.
It hurts. It hurts my heart. Brian, how's your last week been?
It's been a week. It's been fun for the most part. I mean, outside of just a lot of work. Played a little bit more Hyperscape before the technical test ended, and I might be okay with that game for a while. It just made me want to go back to play Apex more. 'Cause I don't know, Apex just feels it obviously feels more familiar to me because it's the battle royale that I play the most. But I don't know, it just I'm curious to get back in now that the game's in open beta, as announced at Ubisoft Forward. So maybe I'll try because they added some new stuff. They unlocked the solo mode in there, which is a curious take on a solo mode in a battle royale. Where basically they put like a fog over the map,
Mhm.
so like it limits your visibility. To kind of combat being on your own. I don't know. It's odd. So I'm curious to check that out. But other than that, yeah, it's just been mostly chilling, and I think y'all will both be happy to know that I've been playing more Magic the Gathering.
One of us. One of us.
Hell yeah,
Yes,
drop them ducats. You don't need that money in your pocket.
Oh, see, that's the beautiful thing about it because
Mm.
my partner is so into it. They already have like 6 different decks that I could choose to play from, so
Ooh.
I don't have to spend any skrill on any of that. I could just roll up with this Mer deck and just be like, "What up?" God damn it, I hate myself. I hate myself for saying roll up with this Merfolk deck. What the fuck is wrong with me? Save me. I'm having fun. Save me.
You getting in deep?
I am
Nah,
getting in deep. I kid. I'm having a lot
You
of fun with it.
you know you're truly in deep when you have the same tradition that the group of friends who taught me how to play. When you end up with their tradition where you name your decks based on their theme.
See, that's my partner. my partner has a cat deck.
Cat decks are amazing.
Yes, it is pretty rad. Also, real quick, I don't mean to monopolize this segment real quick, but I have to ask: have any of y'all seen the first Pokemon movie in a while?
No?
No?
Okay, so apparently Netflix, I don't know, it might have been last year, they put out a a remake of the first Pokemon movie in like full CGI.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah, they did. It's up on Netflix right now, and I watched it with my partner and one of our friends, um, over the last weekend, and I did not. That movie is sad at times. I forget how because I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theater when I was a kid, like 20 years ago. So it's an odd thing to go back to and just realize just how much emotion was in that movie.
Oh yeah.
I
It's
don't
crazy.
remember a lot, but I remember sobbing like a baby towards the end.
I forgot about the whole turning to stone thing, and I was just like, "Oh Jesus!" I forgot. I forgot all about that, and I don't know if it was just one of those things where I just repressed it from my mind. But no, I suggest if you haven't revisited that movie in a while, go check out that version of it. The animation is pretty good for a kids cartoon
I've
that's full CGI.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. Pokemon the first movie was the Transformers of the 90s kids generation. It was the
Oh,
Optimus died of that era. I don't know what
mm-hmm.
Gen Z's getting, but I'm hoping they get to cry just as much as we got to over Fiction, so they can learn to cry better over what's actually going on out there, because that shit's way scarier than Optimus Prime dying.
Hunger Games.
Eesh. Eesh.
Fair story. Merowyn, how you doing? And what you been up to?
Not much. I honestly don't know where the week has gone. I know you and I did a thing.
Yeah. Well, you have been basically a puddle as far as I'm aware.
Yes, the heat has finally broken. It was down to like 23 Celsius today.
Nice.
And it's been feeling positively chilly at night, which is hilarious because it's still over 20. But I'm no longer the blob formerly known as Lady Marrow. I am I'm alive. I'm no longer like dropping 5 pounds a week, just water weight.
I mean, nice if you can get it, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to lose a bit anyway, so win-win.
there you go. But yeah, might as well transition into so several of us in chat sat around and watched the Devolver showcase that they put on this year. And it was fucking great. They did show off the Fall Guy um, Battle Royale game, and that looks dope as
Yeah.
hell.
Well, it's not so
I-
much Battle Royale, it's more of like Wipeout meets every single Mario Party minigame.
Well, it's a battle royale in the same way Tetris 99 was a battle royale, right? Like you're not
In a
going around
way.
with guns and shit.
In a way, yes. I wish I could talk about this game right now. I signed an NDA. Damn it.
Oh!
Anyway, yeah. I really wish I could talk about this game right now, but yeah. Fall Guys, just guess the hand gesture that I'm doing and the tone of my voice.
Okay.
That's how we'll talk about this off air. But no, like it looks cool.
All right.
Oh
So,
boy.
how dare you be a professional journalist and shit and know about things coming out and whatnot?
Right?
Yeah. But as always, every year, if you don't watch the Devolver show that they put out every year, what the fuck is wrong with you? It is goddamn hilarious. And somehow they are able to twist it literally every year. Like, every year I'm like, okay, we're kind of done with the hyper violence and shit, right? Like, how do you make this work? And they found a way to make it work again this year after several great skits with I mean, of course they had other things to announce. They had Carrion, they had Serious Sam 4 gameplay stuff.
Shadow Warrior 3.
Yeah, a whole lot of cool
That
shit.
looks so good.
And then at the end of it, they announced that not only are they announcing games, but they're announcing a game where they're announcing more games. So totally just like in our Discord, myself, Merowyn, and Coop all sat down and explored through the world of Devolverland Expo. And it's a first-person game, I guess you'd call it a shooter. You do shoot a gun. There's some mild stealth mechanics as you wander around a abandoned E3 convention center made by the same guys that will be bringing you Shadow Warrior 3. So I imagine they're using the same engine they'll be using for that. So it's also a good teaser for their own game coming up. And of course, the most lavishly laid out land was definitely that one.
Yeah, they definitely, I mean, as a marketing tool, this is probably one of the most brilliant things I've seen in a very long while. And I tried playing it on my own. Things happened. I squeaked in fear and put it down.
There
And-
is literally one jump scare in the whole ass thing.
And that's what got me.
But yeah, God, I fucking love Devolver Digital. Just even like I buy some of their games just to make sure that they're putting out more shit each year. And they, like I said, they keep surprising me by putting out something that is different enough that it doesn't feel like more of the same, right? Because if they just came out every year and held a press conference where everyone exploded and died, it wouldn't be cool. But this, especially that shit at the end with Nina, I'm not going to go into spoilers in case some of you haven't seen it, but holy shit, just fucking watch it.
Like, this has been an overarching storyline for what, like the past 5 years?
Yeah, this is their fourth, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's a nice little exercise in creativity that I will admit this one kind of did reach the point or get close to the point of me like, okay, I get it, you got a story, but can you just show me shit now, please? Just let me get this over. Not necessarily get this over with, but just let me get to the next thing.
Yeah, and I can understand that. Like, I am honestly more there for the show, to be real with you, but also, like, yeah, I do appreciate that they also are putting in real shit into these things. And I will say, like, I don't think they could carry the shtick another year, so they're going to have to figure out something different. Like, they ran the full gamut on this at this point. Like, the jokes with Sonic Fox, and a lot of people were confused whether the whole thing with the beans was even real or not. And it's a real fucking company that's shattering off of some developers from Ubisoft. So,
yeah, I do love the fact that that clearly there are people in the industry that are totally game for diving headfirst into whatever weird shit Devolver has going on. The fact that they got Phil Spencer to sit like split screen with the actual fucking creature from Carrion is ridiculous to me. And that they actually got him to like participate in bits. They got Phil Spencer to do bits with Carrion. They got Shohei Yoshida.
yeah.
They got Yoshida-san here.
It's like Devolver is like the lovable little brother of the games industry, and everybody just wants to humor them. You know, like how you have like a younger cousin or whatever going, "Hey, look at this! Look what I could do! Look what I could do! Look what I could do!" And everybody's just like, "Oh, yeah, that's cute." And that's kind of what it feels like with Devolver.
Yeah. All right, we could sit here and suckle at the warm teat of Devolver Expo all day today, but we've got to get into actual, like, solid, newsy stuff. And gross. We're going back into this ground again for several weeks in a row now.
We're gonna do the thing that Ubisoft chose not to do at their presentation. Explicitly chose not to do at their presentation, mind you.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get to that presentation as well and talk about that.
Jesus Christ.
More people have come forward to talk about the absolute just grossness at Ubisoft. Yeah, I'm not gonna really go into reading a whole lot of this, but there's a whole packet of information within these tweets that are explicitly damning to Ubisoft, and that came out, as you can see here, just on the 10th. Boy, that was only Friday, and the Friday before their Ubisoft Forward. That's a lot.
Sorry, I gotta step away for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to. There was something making noise, and I had to take care of it. Anyway, no. So yeah, no. In all seriousness, though, this is all gross, and honestly, I think this was expected that we would learn more, because usually whenever you hear reports of allegations, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Very rarely does it all get shoved to the front. Granted, some of the movements that we've seen within esports and games journalism and in pro wrestling, because that's been happening. All this is happening the same month, obviously. A lot of those other movements have been very quick to shine the spotlight and pull the iceberg up by its tip to show the real issue underneath as well. The Ubisoft one has been a little bit slower, and usually that means there's more to come. And definitely we saw more come out with these allegations here. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than like the main thing that I really pulled from this is that some of the statements about Yves Guillemot, the head of Ubisoft, who's been somewhat silent throughout all of this. You know, I jokingly asserted earlier how Ubisoft chose not to address any of this in their presentation, even though it was pre-recorded and they could easily have edited in a simple message in there addressing it and you know, expressing, you know, what they were doing to address the matter and that sort of thing, and be upfront about it. The same way that Eve was very upfront about the financial situation they were facing a number of years ago at E3, whenever Vivendi was trying to take them over. You know, like he was very fine to be like, "Hey, we love making these games, and you should keep behind them so we can keep Vivendi from owning our stuff." But when it comes to the people, no, we're not going to say anything. We're not going to say anything at all. And the fact that in this article, Liberation, it's a quote: Yves Guillemot is okay with the toxic management as long as these managers' results exceeds their toxicity level. That's not acceptable anymore. Anymore. It never should have been.
No, it never should have
But
been.
it definitely is not now.
They did, in some ways, approach these allegations here, starting off with a PDF from basically from their executives that several people have stepped down, including the quoted Yves Guillemot, and a lot of other high-level people did step down from the company. And if you read between the lines, step down means forced out from the company. And I'm at least going to give them that.
I think they should just flat out say, we had to fire these people. Like, honestly, because when you say step down, it sounds like we're suggesting you retire. We'll give you your severance versus get the fuck out. You're gross.
Actually, I did just realize Yves Guillemot, I misread that entirely, that he didn't step down. He's actually taking over in the interim, so that's
Oh
cool.
yeah. Yeah, Eve isn't stepping down. I mean, Eve was in that presentation. He was on the Ubisoft Forward presentation. Like, he's still putting himself full front of all of this, of his company at least, not necessarily this whole situation. He's been very quiet about the situation, but yeah, like, no, Eve's not going anywhere. At least if he can't help it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, none of the allegations were against him, but he also allowed these things to happen, from what I remember.
Exactly. Yes, he did. Well, I say it's alleged that he did. Gotta protect my own ass. So yeah, like it's incredibly frustrating. I'm glad that there are some people that are facing this, but you got to remember this makes, I think, 6 people total that I want to say that have been pushed out of Ubisoft in regards to these complaints and these allegations that have been levied against the company, and it doesn't fully address the issue. Like, I'm glad that there are bad actors getting pushed out, but you have to understand the systems that help these people do these things. And if you're just going to try and sweep things under, like, not necessarily sweep things under the rug, but put like a tarp over them while you try and fix things to be somewhat better, but not actually better, like, there has to be some form of transparency in how they're reworking this stuff and how they're addressing this stuff. Because without that, it's all lip service. You know, you got to remember, there were a rash of complaints from the Toronto studio, specifically the Toronto studio, and the fact that only 6 people have lost their jobs, really speaks to how they've been somewhat dragging their feet on some of this stuff. Now, that's not to say that there aren't investigations to conclude into some of these things, and to really figure out how best to approach this stuff. But there's ample time has been had. You need to show that you are making advancements towards something better. You can, I mean, the time for statements about we're working on something new is gone. You need at least a step 1 out there.
Yeah, I mean, last week, gosh, who were we talking about last week? Oh, we've had so many of these going on. My brain has melted literally everything together, but regardless, we've seen companies come out and like, hey, these people are gone. These are the changes we're making, and we're getting a private company in to investigate what we can do better as far as our company and move better. Riot Games over the course of us doing this show, hasn't, I wouldn't say fixed everything, but I would say they've definitely maybe not done a 180, but done about a 90 degrees on being a kind of a shitty company to work for. So
yeah, they've improved.
Yeah.
They've moved forward. They haven't gotten all the way there, but they're taking the steps.
Yeah, and I'm not asking for every company tomorrow to be, a progressive bastion hold. I'd like that, but I recognize this isn't, what I would like isn't what I'm going to happen. But I expect here's your minimum. It's nice that they've gotten rid of some of the people whom the complaints have been about. But that doesn't really address the culture, and at least a statement of this is what we have done and are doing. This is where we would like to progress forward. That's literally it. It's a fucking paragraph. Like, hey, we're working with outside companies, or we're restructuring our HR to better approach what our employees need and require. That's literally it. It's a fucking paragraph.
And that is why it was so frustrating for me personally to see that they did not address this at
Absolutely.
Ubisoft Forward. Like as Kelvorn points out in the chat, like, yes, their presentation was pre-recorded. That doesn't mean that you can't whip together a statement, like a 2 to 3 minute statement, putting a face to your company to talk about this and being upfront about it in your major presentation, in the same way that you were about the hostile takeover that was facing your corporate brand. To me, and this might be just me alone, but to me, the fact that they were willing to address that publicly on the E3 stage while not addressing this on a much smaller stage, I would say, one that they built themselves, but still a stage that was smaller than having a full-fledged E3 press conference, is incredibly telling about what they value within that company. They value Assassin's Creed. They don't value the person who makes Assassin's Creed the same way.
Exactly. And it's sickening. I totally agree with you. Like, they need to come out and, I don't know how to phrase this, hold themselves more accountable and actually state, live-ish, we done fucked up. This is how we're fixing it.
Exactly.
All right. As a small breather, just, give you a little moment of time. Here's some rubber duckies.
Moments of time. Ooh.
There is a delightful little video here at the PCGamer.com. There are rubber duckies that just randomly scooter around in the Division 2. And a lot of people wondered, why all these fucking rubber duckies just chilling out? It turns out one of the programmers, while working on the game, in order to remind himself of just keep moving forward, it's an old programming thing that you start talking to an inanimate object. It doesn't have to be a rubber ducky, but the joke always goes, talk to rubber ducky. Start talking it out like you're explaining it to somebody. So the designer just put a huge ass fucking rubber duck in the middle of the map, this giant fucking rubber duck, while he was developing it. And other people at the company thought it was funny, started putting rubber ducks around, and now people are going out there and literally hunting for all the rubber ducks that can be found about in the game.
It's kind of adorable, it really is. And I mean, I've played Division 2, and I noticed them while I was wandering around, and I'm just like, huh, that's weird. And didn't think anything more of it until I saw this article today.
I do appreciate tiny little Easter eggs like this, and hey, it makes games feel a little bit more palatable when you find out, hey, there's humans behind these games that make them for you. I know, fucking crazy, am I right?
It is a cute little addition, I will say.
For a game that can get pretty heavy at times, it's nice to see that little bit of lightheartedness.
Anyway, so everything came together. These allegations came out just a few days before their Ubisoft Forward, as we said. And they didn't really bother to take the time to come together on this, which kind of sucks. That they couldn't really address all of this. But so there was an Ubisoft Forward, which what took place. We are dropping a whole shitload of frames. Holy fuck. What is going on? I don't have much of an option of way to fix this either. I'm going to guess probably the housemates are doing something.
Uh-oh.
Well, my stream seems to have gone back to green. Hi, people out there in chat land. Is that any better? Okay. So I don't know what the fuck those people did, but anyway. There was an Ubisoft Forward. And yeah, the only thing they said was on their Twitter that because all of the content has been pre-recorded, we want to recognize that the issues we're currently dealing with won't be addressed directly in the show. And they kind of went on anyway.
Okay, but like, they had a huge audience for the Ubisoft Forward.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's going to see that tweet.
Yee. If they don't, like, myself personally, I will give the benefit of the doubt for the fact that they said they are doing another Ubisoft Forward later in the summer. If they don't in some way address this and that, I'm going to be a lot more pissed off.
Well, they said later this year, so it probably won't be in the summer. More than likely sometime in the fall before Assassin's Creed Valhalla comes out.
And they're probably hoping this all blows over before this, am I right?
I mean,
You
wouldn't be wrong. Like,
cool. Anyway, boy, I'm not an Ubisoft fan really to begin with. So the show really held a whole piffle to me in the first place. I didn't really watch a whole lot of this, to be honest with you, other than the Watch Dogs trailer, which looked pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, the new Watch Dogs actually is maybe the first game from Ubisoft in a long time that earnestly sounds interesting to me. You can play through the campaign as multiple characters. Each character has their own way of interacting and dealing with the world. They showed a lot of gameplay of how each different character might approach a individual situation. That was cool as fuck.
I had one glaring problem with the whole presentation of that game, though.
What's that?
At this event, let me find this real quick. Sorry, I had it before and I apparently closed the tab on it, but let me pull this up real quick. Sorry.
No problem.
There we go. Here we go. Found it. Are you familiar with the poem? Oh God, it went away again. Where'd it go? There we go. Okay. Are you familiar with the poem "First They Came"?
Nope. Oh, right. Yeah, no,
Yep.
I am.
Yes. Okay. Why the fuck are you using a reworked version of First They Came as a way to market your fucking video game, Ubisoft?
I think most people don't really know what I didn't even realize where that uh whole poem came from, to be directly honest with you, until
Yeah.
I really thought about it afterwards.
I'm
So
just going to put a link in the chat to this Kotaku article talking about this, because it's the only place I found anybody really talking about it, because it was weird and kind of gross that you're going to use the fucking Holocaust to promote your fucking Watch Dogs game. What the fuck?
with everything else, it's not exactly a good feel. It doesn't have that let's say positive mouthfeel about it once you have everything else out. Like if this were it on its own, I didn't even think about it until a few people that was like, why did they use that Holocaust poem? Like, wait, shit, that's a Holocaust poem? Oh yeah, it is. Shit. I myself forgot the context, and yeah.
It's like I'm sorry, but like DedSec, Dachau. I'm no. It's not peanut butter and jelly. It's not this. You can't do that. It's just not. It's not. It's not. Especially whenever it's in the realm of marketing like that. It's just no. Like,
It,
it left a bad taste in my mouth about the presentation of the game itself. Like you, I think when they first unveiled it at E3 last year, I was intrigued. It was an interesting concept, and I thought that Watch Dogs 2 did a lot to kind of revitalize what they wanted Watch Dogs to be originally. Which is why it's a shame that they have such a giant misstep, at least culturally, from the beginning with this thing now. And God, it's just really, it just rubbed me the wrong way so hard. It made me not be able to really ingest the rest of the presentation of Watch Dogs Legion in the same way that I would have if that wasn't there.
yeah, if like I said, for myself, and I'm going to guess the marketing person who took it didn't really think a whole lot about the cultural context, which I'm hoping, rather than because otherwise that's a shitty thing to do. But in the light of everything else, boy, it leaves you with a bad taste in the mouth. But
Yeah.
hey, the gameplay was cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, they did, I'll say that the presentation was pretty quick and painless as far as it went. There wasn't really a moment where I go, why the fuck are you wasting my time, at the very least? I didn't really give a shit about a whole lot of it, but hey, Brawlhalla's getting crossplay across platforms, and that's dope. It's coming to a whole lot of shit, so good for it.
It's coming to mobile.
Yeah.
Mobile Brawlhalla sounds weird off the tongue.
I could see how it would work.
I have seen some games where mobile to PC crossplay works really well. Like Armajet, fantastic. From what I understand, Brawlhalla is kind of a similar premise to Armajet. So I could see it working.
I'm sorry if I made a weird face just a moment ago to chat. My coffee really fucking cooled down between the last two sips. Holy shit.
Don't you hate that?
Oh, when like just the last sip is like this weird, not cold, but oh, what is this gross shit that just went in my mouth? Got nothing to get rid of that bittersweet taste either.
I'm a former call center employee. I'm not used to having hot coffee anymore, so
Okay, fair. They also took a look at Hyperscape, another fucking battle royale, but it looks pretty.
Yes. It does look pretty, and it looked pretty when I played it. And like I said, I'm curious to see the stuff they've added into it now, because apparently they added in a new weapon as well as the solo mode, like I said earlier. So yeah, I mean, I'll give it. I'm probably gonna give it another whirl here and there. It's just not. I know it's only in beta, but it's just not hitting me the same way that Apex does. And it's honestly the closest comparison in terms of battle royale games that you have between for Hyperscape is Apex.
True.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, this shit, especially Hyperscape, it's way not for me. So watching it is just kind of it's pretty. I had nothing to really contextualize whether like does this gameplay look fun? Maybe. And they actually showed off Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay. Finally, after teasing the real gameplay like way too many times at those fucking points. Hey, this is a game that exists, everybody.
I'm curious, as someone who has not played either of the last two Assassin's Creed games, have either of you two played Odyssey or Origins?
I have played and watched Odyssey, and I have watched a good chunk of Origins.
Okay, having played Odyssey and having watched both games, when you looked at the gameplay there, what did it feel like to you?
Better.
Okay. Because
it's still
sorry, go ahead.
It still had all of the same smooth, flowy, gorgeous looking combat, but it looks like they just turned it to 11.
Okay. Because for me, as someone who hasn't really engaged with those games, it looked just very, very similar. But obviously, like I said, I'm not the best person to talk about that because I haven't really engaged with them that much. So I'm glad to hear that someone who has notices a difference. Because I was just very, very afraid that this is just going to be kind of the same game reskinned into a Viking setting. So
yeah, like I've played Black Flag Syndicate and then Odyssey, and even the differences between like Black Flag and Syndicate to Odyssey, it was night and day. I found that with Black Flag and Syndicate, there was still some chuggy aspects of like your input. And with Odyssey, it was so much smoother, so much fluid, not as much delay. Like it was excellent. And I found it a lot more accessible because like Syndicate and Black Flag, I loved. I couldn't play them well. It was a really awkward control scheme for some reason, and I know they didn't change much with Odyssey, but for some reason it felt more natural, and it was a lot easier to pull off those combos and things along those lines. So I they're just improving, and I'm blown away so far.
I apologize, by the way. I have no idea why the stream is so fucking chuggy today. It's dope as shit. Suddenly it hit into the red again. Seems to be back by now, so that's cool.
Odd.
Yeah. Boy, that's going to make like a great looking VOD, and I'm sure we have ditched a whole lot of viewers today because chunky internet. Oh well. Fuck it. It'll even out in the end. I'm going to be honest. I've never played a single Assassin's Creed game in my entire life. I have no plans to. Like, I've watched people play a bit of several Assassin's Creed. I don't understand the appeal other than pretty world, what wander around.
That's kind of what draws me in, is like it's visually stunning. And being able to get to your high points so you synchronize and then do your leap of faith, like just the panoramas on those alone. Jaw dropping for me. Because I'm very much a pretty when it comes to games. Pretty first, playstyle after. But they just hit on both.
Fair. And I think I'm the weird one out that I kind of hate open world games. I want a path. Give me a path that I'm supposed to wander down, and I'm fine. And that makes me weird. I recognize this. I'm tired of open world games. There's so much to explore. I don't fucking care. Boy, I'm kind of
Well,
salty today.
if you're tired of open world games, let me tell you about Far Cry 6.
Hell yeah, tell me about Far Cry 6.
Well, it's an open world game.
Mm.
So immediately, you're tired of it. No, no, Far Cry 6. I mean, this leaked over the weekend ahead of the announcement. So at least so it wasn't necessarily a big surprise. The trailer was definitely built up like it was supposed to be a big surprise if it had not leaked ahead of
Yeah.
time. But outside of that, like, I don't know, Far Cry is an odd beast to me because like those games are always good for the reasons that Ubisoft really doesn't portray them for in a way.
Mhm.
Like they're just game like at least since like Far Cry 3, it's just been a bunch of like whatever ridiculous stuff we can cram into this thing and whatever ridiculous stuff you can pull off in the engine. Is really the draw of those games.
Yeah.
Whereas the story, outside of maybe a few characters here and there, really has not been anything that they have delivered on. I specifically am looking at Far Cry 5, where there was so much hype around this idea of setting the game in like rural America with this religious cult and like this whole thing, like really trying to like people thought it was going to be like a woke Far Cry or something like that. Like here's the thing that maybe actually will like address something while telling an interesting story, and then that all fell by the wayside because it was just rudimentary stuff. Like it was just carbon copy plot, and really the only fun that was had from the game was whatever you could do outside of that plot. There really wasn't a ton to engage with that they gave you in terms of the narrative. Far Cry 6 looks to set up in the same way. Although I will say, watching the trailer for Far Cry 6 and knowing what's going on all around us right now, especially here in Portland, where protests are still happening on a nightly basis, entering close to the 50th straight day, and watching that play out there while Gus from Breaking Bad is telling me all about grenades and how grenades are life. I don't know. It didn't hit me in a very good way, personally. I think that the game itself, there will be parts of this, an element of this game that will be entertaining to people and will deliver what you expect from a Far Cry game. I don't give Ubisoft any modicum of thought when it comes to delivering on whatever premise they're trying to set up with this trailer. I'm glad that they got a good actor to play this like pseudo Cuban dictator, even though the actor is not Latinx, and that has bothered a lot of people online. So like, but at the same time, like, it's Far Cry. They never deliver on whatever storyline they're trying to set up. You just have to know you're going in to play something that is completely ridiculous, off the wall action, and whatever you can come up with within the game yourself, because the game is not going to give you anything really to chew on.
Like, I see his name directly in front of me, but to be honest, watching it, my eyes were just, oh my god, it's actually Gus in a video game format. It's him. I see his face, and it is him. That is cool as shit. That is everything I got out of the trailer. It's amazing to me that yet again, this is like the fourth time now he's playing basically the same character. It is Evil Chicken Man, but in this setting instead. Cool.
Yeah. So I don't know, like I'm curious to see more about what they do with the actual world that they're gonna do. I also have a bit of a caution when it comes to them building a game world out of something based off of communist Cuba and how they interpret that into their gaming world, because for reasons, I think. So yeah, like I don't know. This is a very, very thin line that they have chosen to walk.
Yeah.
And granted, they chose this before everything that's happened in the past 2 months went down. So I can't fault them for that at all. But this is where you live now. Figure out how to build this house in the best way possible, because it is very easy for it to fall apart.
I have to imagine there's people at Ubisoft narrative, whatever, and just kind of like sweat, sweat, sweat.
Yes.
I mean, Far Cry is such an established IP. And I believe with the IP itself, they are suffering from delusions of grandeur. We've seen it with other IPs of theirs. Anybody remember The Crew 2? That game was ridiculously bad.
They announced an update for The Crew 2, by the way.
Oh, cool.
How many years after it came out?
It's an 80s theme.
No, make the game work first. There is no reason why when I'm driving around, I should be looking at that wall coming up and going, am I going to glitch through it, or am I going to bounce off of it, or am I going to sail 30 feet in the air as I ricochet off of it? Like,
but what if that's the tension?
Oh god.
It sounds like you've had a fun time with Far Cry so far.
I actually have never touched Far Cry, but I've heard so much. So much.
Fair.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. So all I know, like, from what I've seen, it's pretty. Do I want to play it? No. Not really.
Yeah, it looks like, fun if you don't really care a whole lot. And every Far Cry so far has been a fucking cash cow, so it'll sell regardless. So they just have to not suck. Like, if you put out a modically decent game, it'll do game busters. It'll do fine. If anything,
we'll see. I think a lot of people felt a little bit burned on Far Cry 5. So I don't know.
Me.
We'll see. I'm with you. I think this is still going to sell well.
Yeah.
It's a Far Cry game. It's still going to sell well. Is it going to sell as well as Far Cry 5 did? We'll see.
Yeah, it's if you make a game that fucking tanks, like I don't know what comes after Fallout 76, but I don't expect it to sell nearly as well as Fallout 4 did. So yeah.
Rather than seeing Ubi put out a new Far Cry, I'd rather see Square put out another Just Cause.
I'd be for it. All right. Quick deviation. Hey, remember that ninja guy? He's back out there
No.
doing the streaming.
I kind of remember him in passing.
Some unforgettable guy that used to be on Twitch and then got paid millions of dollars to go over to Mixer and then oh, Mixer is fucking crazy. That's cool. Anyway, so Ninja did a stream which might have been just for funsies over at YouTube, and as far as reports are going, uh good old Ninja Boy and all of the others signed $1 million deals to Mixer previously have not really signed anything yet to anybody else, but it kind of looks like Shroud and Ninja and them might happen to be going to YouTube, which would be good for them. They might even have to fucking sign them. It may just be like, going back to Twitch feels weird. Okay, and I'm not going to Facebook Gaming. I'm not streaming to Grandma.
No, I don't. I don't think that YouTube needs to sign them to a contract because, like, I don't know. To me, with Mixer going away, I don't know how quickly streaming services are going to be offering those kind of deals to people now going forward. Because you got to think, Mixer was the one that really set that marketplace. They're the ones that took Ninja from Twitch. They're the ones that took Shroud from Twitch with these deals. Twitch really didn't excuse me. Twitch really didn't offer those high level contracts until Mixer threw that money out there first. That's whenever Dr. Disrespect got his deal, as well as a couple of other people over there. And which, by the way, I will say this: was validated in my opinion that Dr. Disrespect is a piece of shit by someone who is not in our friend circle this week, and that made me very happy. But I digress. No, so it doesn't surprise me at all if YouTube doesn't offer him a deal and just lets him stream and make his money through the platform that way. Now they'll probably do some kind of branded content with him because that's what YouTube does with all of its high tier, high subscriber creators. But I don't foresee anybody really getting the kind of like $20 million deals that they were getting through Mixer or Twitch at this point from anybody, at least until like somebody pushes the issue and really says like, well, I'm not going to do, like they have to put the line in the sand, like I'm not going to stream on your platform unless you offer this to me. And right now all of the power has been put back into the hands of the platforms. So
yeah, I mean, YouTube and Twitch can kind of do whatever the fuck they want to now. They don't really have to worry about these huge ass contracts anymore because hey, we're not in a 3-way fight anymore. Say what you will about Facebook Gaming, it's certainly exists, and a lot of people are very aware of it.
it's definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing.
Honestly, they might be the ones that are going to offer deals because they're the Mixer now.
True.
Like they're the one, not just because Mixer partnered with them, but because they're the small kid on the block. They are the ones that have the lowest install base. They're the ones that have the lowest like viewer counts, I would say, on a consistent basis. Even though the viewer counts there are growing, but really, if they want to get eyes on their thing, they might go to the Mixer route within a year's time and try and woo some people with some big deals. But right now, like I can't see anybody getting a major lucrative streaming deal from like an exclusivity deal from a streaming platform for at least another year. And that's only if Facebook makes that move, because I don't think YouTube is not making that move. Twitch definitely, I don't think is making that move after they got burned so hard with utter disrespect. So I don't, but then again, I could be wrong. I don't have like I don't have like any exclusive insight into these companies. Obviously, they are very secretive about how they run their shit. So it could happen. I just I don't expect it to.
Yeah, and Calvin brings up a good point. Like, I don't think anybody was aware that like Facebook had like an 8% market share, whereas Mixer had like 4 or 5% or something along those. I think those were the numbers.
The thing about the exclusivity deals is, by its nature, affiliate or partnership with Twitch, in your terms of your contract, because even when you're an affiliate, you have to go through a contract. You cannot stream simultaneously to another platform, nor can you stream the exact same content to another platform, or you risk losing your partnership or your affiliateship.
Cool.
Fun.
All right. Hey, speaking of Twitch, you want to get banned from a Twitch channel? Because that's fun to do.
Twitch channel.
It's a little follow up from last week. You may remember people were getting banned from the U.S. Army's Discord for bringing up war crimes in the United States. So they started doing the same to these people doing the streams. I don't feel bad fucking at all. Normally, like I see a troll coming into somebody's stream, like, and I'm just like, hey, fuck you. Hey, this is actually a decent way to protest the things you don't like. So, somewhat positive trolling, I guess.
This is. Sorry, go ahead.
I got nothing.
Oh god, this is just. It's the gift that keeps on giving in a lot of ways. Like, I'm just glad that there are people out there just dragging the U.S. Army as they further their efforts within the video game sphere to recruit people to their ranks, and more people are just like, "Yo, y'all suck," and I'm really glad that their only real tool in that fight is to ban people from their Twitch channel, because that is one of the pettiest bullshit things that I could that it just makes me giggle, honestly. Like, I'm glad that there are people that are within this area that are willing to stand up against what they do within video games and how they're utilizing video games for their own gains. And it just makes me happy. It makes me very, very confident going forward that like people are not gonna let them get away with their bullshit. And I don't care how many Green Berets like say that they're gonna ban you over posting the Wikipedia link to the U.S. Army's list of war crimes, because that shit should be known. And the people that are at like probably the people that are being targeted the most, from most likely marginalized populations, and poverty-stricken populations in this country, they need to know this information and keep on banning people, because you're just gonna keep getting more and more people to post that shit, and it's just gonna get more well known. So, good on ya.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more and more difficult as the times go by for them to have an online persona. And genuinely, I couldn't make a fuck. I don't really care how the army decides to promote itself. Do it. It's not like this. Hashtag not like this.
Yeah.
Do your patriotic commercials or shit. I don't feel this is needed here. Like, I don't like if you're out there, before a Super Bowl game putting on a commercial, fine. Don't care. But invading other people's spaces like this is just, I don't know. It doesn't matter what country's army it was. It could be like country of free hand jobs and beer for all I care's army. I don't really feel great about it promoting to children. And let's face it, it's you can say what you want. YouTube and Twitch have a very young following audience, especially Twitch.
Exactly, which is why this is so problematic, and why I'm glad there are people out there that are at least flooding chat rooms in a good way this time with this stuff. I think the U.S. Army esports account put in something where they might be doing like a slow streaming, or they might be doing some extra moderation on the chat going forward. But even then, like,
yeah,
fuck.
so far they've not a lot of people that haven't been following for at least 24 hours to talk. So
follow now and get ready for the next stream so we can remind them about their use of white phosphorus. All right.
enjoy. Hey,
Garbage.
speaking of things that just kind of feel shitty, also, wow, my main screen has gone completely fucked. Cool. Can I figure out where to click to actually get this article going?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, I could use OBS screen to kind of do this. Hold on. I swear to God, I'll figure this out. Oh, this show today has just been great. Just everything has gone exactly how I wanted it to.
Yeah, these things happen, man.
All right, EA has partnered with TBS for a 4-episode of reality show based around The Sims. How is it a reality show, but also The Sims?
The Sims is a reality show.
I think the better question on all this is why?
This just brings up more questions than it answers. Like, who was asking for this? Like a Sims reality show? What? It is just the oddest confluence of synergy coming in all together to make a TV show where you do Sims like behavior.
The show, the nature of the show itself is a design competition reality show.
Yeah.
So it's basically like their design challenges within The Sims, which is cool. Like that could be interesting. I like watching people come up with absolutely weird and ridiculous stuff that I would never even think about doing in that game. And there are a lot of people out there that do that on the reg. So it's not a bad idea in concept. It's just, I don't know. It is an odd choice in a way, because you don't normally think about The Sims in terms of any kind of like competition, really. But I can definitely see this. My main thing is, like, I'm just curious about how they chose some of the judges. Like Kelsey, I get. Kelsey regularly plays The Sims on the BuzzFeed multiplayer channel. Obviously you have Dave Miyoki, who is a developer for Maxis, so that makes total sense. Who better than someone who worked on the game to judge other people working in the game?
Yeah.
I have no idea who Taylor Parks is.
Who the fuck is Taylor Parks? Hey Google, what the fuck is a Taylor Parks? No, phone.
Here's what I found on the web.
She is a
Yeah.
singer, songwriter, actress.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay,
Uh,
she
she
co-wrote
was.
Thank You Next. Okay.
Yeah, she co-wrote "Thank You Next," "Love Lies," "High Hopes."
she definitely got aesthetic going
God.
on. That's positive.
High Hopes is garbage. Maybe that's why she got picked, because of her aesthetic. Because I will agree with you. She's got a good aesthetic. I'm not gonna lie. Like, she's got style, so maybe that's why she's in there. That is perfectly fine. I was just not familiar with her. That makes sense. I don't know. This to me feels fairly benign, and it really feels like they're just like testing the waters with this. 4 episodes, not a huge commitment. Also, it's part of E-League, the thing that Turner Sports keeps running. I know they've run a lot of like Rocket League competitions through E-League on television. So yeah, if it just keeps broadening that brand for them and they hit something that strikes with a lot of people in this, then yeah, good for them. I think that this will pull a decent sized audience. I don't know if it's going to do gangbusters, but there are plenty of people that still play The Sims to a humongous extent.
Oh hell yeah! There's people that the only game they play is The Sims, and that's
exactly.
a lot of people.
Yeah, and that flies under the radar of a lot of people within that either engage with the industry at many levels, just because The Sims isn't really a game that's always on the tip of people's tongues, you know. So yeah, this could be fun. This could be. I've turned around. I've turned the corner on this. At first, I was like, this seems kind of, but I'm like, no, maybe I'll watch it.
I'll give it a try. Don't mind me. I don't trust the cats anymore after destroying the laptop, so I'm just kind of like, what the fuck are you doing now? And they are doing a wrestle. Anyway. Hi. While we're talking about odd combinations, this leaked what looks like a little bit early. Lego and Nintendo obviously are already making their Mario theme stuff. It is coming out in 3 weeks, I believe, for what we already know. But they are now making like a little NES set to play with your Legos with. I thought this article actually had some of the pictures. Maybe they had to get rid of it since then. Hold on. Lego NES. Surely we'll find pictures if we just look it up. Thank you, Engadget. You saved my life. So yeah, but it's about like 200 euros, so $250 American, and fuck all Australian and Canadian, because, you know, I know how you guys get fucked on these sorts of things.
I could buy a Switch for this price.
I don't understand who's buying this necessarily. Like, you got a little Mario that does a jumpy thing and it looks like a old 80s TV. Yeah, it's cool, I guess. That's, you know, it's a neat looking thing. I just don't know who the person is that's justifying spending this amount of money on. Yeah.
Anybody who buys the big Lego kits, I mean, those things run up to like $500-600.
Mm-hmm.
And this is reportedly around 2,500 pieces. So, I mean, it's not. It is your standard large Lego kit, just in a slightly different form factor.
Like, normally, like the Lego stuff that you get, like my cousin, my ex-cousin-in-law, I don't fucking know how this works exactly, but he bought the Ghostbusters playset, and that shit cost all the money, but it looked cool as fuck, and you could play with it and all that thing. This is just, once you put it together, okay. I'm pretty sure I could just get a standee that isn't necessarily Lego, but would do the same thing for like $30.
Or, you know, you invest in a 3D printer and make your own.
Yeah. I wouldn't even have reported on it, because like all of the pictures that we've gotten so far are kind of vague and washed out. Except Lego itself put out this little teaser that, yeah, that's it. That is definitely it from the official Lego group Twitter. So it's a thing. It's a thing that's definitely going to exist. If you really want to spend all the fucking money on it, go ahead. I'm not going to like yell at you. I mean, if you have the disposable income for this shit, and it tickles your fancy, yeah, I'd like to have my fancy tickled sometimes too. Who doesn't like having their fancy tickled every now and again?
My fancy is my fancy. I will do with it as I please.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to change up your fancy, Blizzard has made a announcement that's kind of interesting to me as somebody who used to play the World of Warcraft and refuses to ever fucking go back again. That game, mm-mm. Oh, I lost too much goddamn time to that video game. Too much goddamn time. Oh, fucking months of actual in-game time. Goddamn. Anyway. For a long-ass time, Blizzard has always charged for changes in cosmetic features. And as they've gone along over the years, they've been relaxing that in many different ways. What your character looks like, and all that good stuff has been customizable. Since they introduced the barber shop, you could change the way your character looks without having to pay. And they were down to really one last vanity item, which was, and it's weird to say vanity item, but it's true that really how World of Warcraft plays doesn't change with character gender. But hey, if you want to change your character gender, it is going to be free instead of the weird $15 cost that has been left over from how they've been doing it for 15 fucking years now. That's cool as shit. Like, they could have just, been Blizzard Activision and just kept ripping that money from you. Just keep pulling it out of them pockets in whatever possible way they could pull it.
Here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they ever charge for people to change their gender in the first place?
Okay, so I can explain this. If you wanted to change any of your appearances, it was a $15 fee to change the way your character looked regardless. It's not a matter of just gender, but in the original code, up until, I want to say, Warriors, the Draenor expansion, you could not change the way your character looked at all. And then they started allowing other ways to change your appearance. So this $15 charge is sort of a holdover from the days of, slowly they started working in that you could change, your skin tone for the fee, without a fee. Yeah, Warlords of Draenor, that's it, was the expansion. And that wasn't fucking long ago. That was 5 years ago, which for a 15-year-old game, not long ago. But yeah, eventually they allowed you to change your skin tone and your tattoos, and they're just getting rid of the last holdout from ye olden times. And I know a lot of people have always been pissed off because they couldn't change their character's gender if they so wanted to without dropping that $15. So it's neat. It's something I'm glad to see.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's just interesting that because the way this is coming from someone who really hasn't engaged with WoW at all in their life. Reading a $15 appearance change in the article made me feel like are they just an appearance change is just switching gender. So that's good to know there wasn't just associated with that. At the same time, though, it sucks that a game that is almost 20 years old at this point, near 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it took them that long to realize that they shouldn't charge money for changes in skin tone or changes in gender and stuff like that. Like, I'm glad we're getting to the point where they're not, but it's frustrating that they did at any point. I understand that sometimes code can be code. Sometimes that's just how it is, and that stuff can be slow to alter. But no, overall, this is a good thing.
I mean, you could change your skin tone through the barber shop, which just was in-game currency. But yeah, to change your gender, to change your race from human to Draenei or what have you, or to change your faction or gender. Yeah, it was real world money.
Mhm.
And we're coming up on the 8th expansion for this game.
Jesus.
Shadowlands is the 8th. So it's definitely past due. It really is.
Now, I'm curious actually, since both of y'all have played WoW extensively
Yeah.
in your lifetimes, have y'all ever come across anyone who identifies as trans, or someone who maybe like transitioned over the course of playing the game and found that
Yes.
this setup was frustrating?
Yeah,
Uh,
actually. God, what's her name? Character?
Isabella was a character.
Yeah.
She always played a female character.
Mhm.
So, in that sense, it wasn't such a big deal.
Mhm.
But I know, like, she's very, very, very vocal for rights and things along those lines. So, if she was still playing, she'd probably be incredibly happy about this as well.
Yeah. Mercer, when I initially met when, he was female, uh he only played male characters, and over the years eventually changed over to playing a male only male characters, got rid of literally any of the females, and then transitioned in real life. Last I saw, Mercer was looking and feeling a whole lot better about themselves. So yeah, there's been a good few people I've seen go through this. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that the two of us hung out in role playing guilds, and that is a lot more. Your emotion kind of goes more into it, because this is not just your character, but you're involved in their actual idea that they have a life that they live and shit. So
Mhm. No, that checks out. That checks out. I'm just curious, is like I would imagine if someone, like basically started a character as their, you know, birth gender and then transitioned and had to drop $15 to accurately portray themselves in the game, like that would have, I would imagine that would have been extremely frustrating. So I'm glad to know that there are, that there's a better way to do that now.
mm,
Within the game itself. And this all does coincide with the introduction of the first ever trans NPC in the game.
yeah,
So that's cool.
yeah,
And Blizz has also come out and flat out said that, like, homophobia is not a thing in WoW lore.
cool. Yeah, I can't remember it ever existing, but also would think that maybe it never existing came down to, that's icky, let's never talk about it. So, yeah. All right, a little bit more straightforward of a story. Hey, Crash Bandicoot is coming to mobile. There's been a whole lot of Crash shit coming out lately. There's a new game with him, of course, Crash Team Racing, and then the remastered edition of the original trilogy. And now you got this, and actually, for a mobile game, doesn't look too bad, really. It's kind of cute.
Is it like one of the endless runners, like Temple Run?
Yeah, that's the feel I get from it. Is and I mean that makes sense in Crash Bandicoot, because the games were really just runners anyway. Just you had a little bit more control over it, but there's boxes to jump on as you go through, and it's multiplayer as well if you want to. Which is interesting. You can play levels with your friends. So yeah, it looks neat. I might even fucking give it a try. I don't know. Sometimes I get into mobile games. It happens.
I'll go ahead. Give you the heads up. There is some timer stuff in there. So
Yeah, like I don't mind the timer so much because I don't really like a mobile game isn't a game that I really give a fuck or want to sit down with for extended periods of time.
yeah.
I just hope that it's not like, hey, if you do this gotcha thing and get this special character, you get a invincible jump that lasts for 5 seconds or that kind of shit. That's balls. So as long as they don't do that, awful mobile shit, looks cute, looks kind of fun, and it fits with Crash Bandicoot. It's you run around, you jump on boxes, and you pick up apples. That is Crash Bandicoot gameplay distilled into a fucking mobile platform. Cool. It's good to actually look at a mobile game and go, this doesn't look like it'll be terrible. Just staring at you, Immortal. Just, funny we haven't heard anything about Diablo Immortal in a while. All right, anyway. Valve very recently, there was basically a roundup that IGN had of previous projects that Valve had that got completely nixed. And man, the number of things that Valve has had to drop over the years that they have left unfinished. And they finally come out and admit that letting people work on whatever they thought was fun maybe doesn't lead to the games that people expected. So it seems like there's been a bit of a change of heart over at Valve, which there's just all of these various games that are listed, and let's see here: Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, a RPG that was just titled RPG, never really left the conceptual stage. A lighthearted voxel-based game with open-ended destruction called Arty, Sim Trek, a VR game, Shooter Half-Life themed VR game, Borealis, a Half-Life VR project, Hot Dog, a take on Left 4 Dead, Vader, another VR headset idea thing. so just so that's what Valve's been doing all of these fucking years, just kind of making games that never actually released and finished. It's so fucking weird to me that just like, can you imagine like the millions of dollars they've invested in all of this shit? It's astounding to me. Like,
It's just ridiculous.
that's a company with literally fucking all the money that they can just be like, why don't we try this instead? And just let our people go wherever. It's fine. Maybe this is why Valve's stuff is always feels so weirdly laissez-faire, right? Is because they just kind of let people do whatever they want to, and without a whole lot of oversight. That's not a way to run a fucking company. Like, I understand during maybe the construction stages when you're initially pitching ideas of like, hey, let's have people free flow with ideas. But once you're like invested in several of these, from what IGN said, were pretty, meaty into their development when they were canceled. Not playable yet in any like full form, but still blows my goddamn mind.
I mean, whenever you got that Steam money,
True that.
like you can afford to blow money on all these products and just cast them off for whatever reason. I love that there's might actually finally be a decided end to the Half-Life 3 stuff.
That would be
Out of
cool.
this.
We can get rid of the Half-Life 3 joke. They're literally getting into real development on a functioning Half-Life 3. So yeah, get it the fuck out there. Just pull it off like a fucking band-aid. Rip it off. If it's not even great, I don't fucking care. I just want it out. just get it out of the gamer discourse. I'm so sick of that conversation. I don't even give a fuck if it's any good. I just want to never have to talk about Half-Life 3 again. Jesus fuck.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. Our last story for the day. So Deadly Premonition has come out to piddle, basically. Oh, cool. I can't even load the tweet. Here we go. The reception has not exactly been warm. There's been a whole lot of yeah, some parts of the game are fun. There's a lot of that awkwardness that is, Deadly Premonition staple. But one of the key complaints, of course, before we get to this, what's on screen, being that the frame rate is jittery as shit. And Josh, Coop, how the fuck you doing, guys? Right, coming at the end to kick him in the dick. Anyway, we've had you guys haven't missed much. It's been a really technically rewarding stream to get functioning. But the other main conversation around Deadly Premonition is it's the way a transgender character is treated within the game. I've seen several people talk about how at first the character is introduced very positively, and then several parts are very awkwardly handled, and he is planning to rewrite and patch out all of the problematic parts. I'm guessing working in tandem to working on the FPS issues within the game.
Yeah, so the elements here that Swery is addressing in this statement and is going to be looking at working to be better about basically boil down to the protagonist of the game, Francis York Morgan, kind of positioning himself as an ally for this trans character, but at the same time, continually dead names the character and misgenders the character in dialogue. Which let me check my notes here. Academically filed under sucks. Because that's real gross, and it's really disappointing considering the message of the missing, his last game.
Mm.
That was my game of the year a couple of years ago because of the message that was in it.
Mm.
So yeah, like I will say this much though. I haven't had a chance to play the game yet. I'm hoping to play it before we come back next week because Swery is my boy, and I will say this: he got out in front of this and issued a genuine apology for it, and is going to try. It's actually going back and within the game and going to try and address the issue, as opposed to just apologizing and leaving it be, or not saying anything at all, like some other people would do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know the nature of why this even ended up in the game. Obviously, it should never have ended up in the game, and I do not want to say that I'm letting Swery off the hook for this, but at the same time, he at least is addressing it in the way that it needs to be addressed, and we'll see what the update does. We'll see whatever changes he makes, and hopefully it'll be changes that drastically improve the treatment of the trans character within the game.
Yeah, I'm even if I had everything that I would want, right? Like, I've got The Last of Us 2 to finish, and I've still got Wonderful 101 that hasn't even been put into the Switch, and then Mario RPG is coming out next week. So even if, let's say all of this was off the table and I didn't have literally fucking anything to play, and of course I'm still playing through Hades because there's more things that just became unlocked. Anyway, Until the frame rate issues and the writing issues are fixed, I have no plans in touching this fucking game. Then again, I never played the original Deadly Premonition. I know, shut the fuck up. I hear you people saying it. Go back and fucking play it. I don't wanna. I may watch a playthrough later. Really don't have the time to sit down and do it myself. Regardless. I was kind of excited for Deadly Premonition 2, and then like all the reviews came out, and was like, kind of sucks. So yeah. But I'm glad that Swery is taking the criticism of both the design and the story writing seriously, and that the criticism of him being a shitty ally has been taken well.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And Deadly Premonition is definitely my game.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, I don't know if I could recommend literally anybody, even a fan of the original Deadly Premonition fans. By the way, the fact that he titled it Dear TP Fans just thrills my childish heart with glee. Just, of course, he would call us DP fans. Yeah.
It's because we're all 12 at heart.
I don't know who told you I'm that old already, madam. Anyway. Hey, that was the last story for Mr. Video Games. You know what time it is? It's time to name our Mr. Video Game of the day. God. Hold on. Breathe. Mr. Video Games is, of course, that thing, place, person, noun that you look at and go, that is so stupid, amazing, outrageous. Just you look at it, and this thing, this what have you, you look at it and go, boy, that is fucking video games right there. That is video games in a nutshell. And this week's Mr. Video Games is anonymous. We don't actually know who it is. But still, if you would like to come in and claim your Mr. Video Games, you're allowed. Because somebody, for a Black Label copy of Mario Brothers, one of the original licensed run of Mario Brothers to officially release in near mint condition, $114,000 for Mario Brothers. A game that they can never even fucking take the sticker off of because it's the sticker that makes it worth $114,000.
I don't get it. I get it. I don't get it.
This game is $5 at a swap meet for the release of the copy that didn't just sell in the original released run of it. So this is first release mint condition with a sticker on it.
Well, they're also saying that it's fairly rare because it's got the cardboard hang tab underneath the plastic, which is an indication it was produced after Nintendo started using shrink wrap to seal the games instead of stickers. It is also now taken the record as the most ever paid for a video game. A mint condition copy of the same game sold for $100,150 in February of last year. This is ridiculous.
This is crazy. I get it because collectors will pay exorbitant amounts of money based off of minute details like that. That's part of the elements of the collecting sector. But also, I can't even say that amount of money without just wanting to vomit. Because that's a condo.
Mm-hmm.
That's a condo. A shitty condo, but a condo nonetheless.
Oh God, not here.
For a Mario Brother. I'm not saying anywhere that we live necessarily, but it's a condo somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've also got to give honorable mentions to the copy of Mike Tyson's Punch Out that sold for $50,000. That's $400. And one of the first sealed copies of Super Mario Brothers 3 selling for $38,400, and it's believed to be one of the less than 10 copies left in existence. And of course, the never sold, a prototype of the never sold Sega Pluto 2 console, which went for $84K.
Okay. The Sega Pluto console, I get why that sold for a high price, because it is something that never finished existing. It is a prototype. It is a rare thing that you cannot ever get or see otherwise. So it's a fascinating piece of history. I own a copy of Mario Brothers. If you want to come over and play it, I've got it downstairs, dude. You didn't have to spend $114,000. You can't even play that shit. Come on over, bro. I've got a copy of Mario Brothers. I'll play or two with you. That's no problem.
Are there drugs in the cart? Like, you laugh, but remember, there was a news story a couple years ago, because I covered this, where someone bought games at a swap meet and found drugs inside of the cartridges. Is there drugs in the cart?
Is that why the swap meets are so popular in San Francisco? Makes sense now.
That was actually in Georgia.
Oh, shit. Okay. Hey, anyway, guys. Hey, while that has been Mr. Video Games for your Monday, July 13th, 2020, we're going to continue to pimp the shit out of the other things that we're going to do this week, because, hey, I want you guys to come back, and I want you to come back on a day that I'm way less fucking salty than this, and we're going to be positive, and we're going to talk about shit that's good and wholesome and clean-hearted. Tomorrow, we're talking about 50s and 60s gaming era video game bullshit. A whole lot of interesting stories coming out of that. I don't know if we're going to get through the whole thing in one day, because it's a lot of info and it's very fucking dense, because it's old ass shit that wasn't really documented very well. Holy fuck, going back to the 50s is hard.
Yes.
But we'll try to go through it.
Yes, we will. We'll go through as much as we can in the hour that we have tomorrow, and we'll find a good stopping point, because I think that, I don't know, this is an era that I don't know a ton about, as I've discussed previously on Thought Dub, and I am very curious to learn more about it, and I'm glad that I have you as my tour guide. I know about Tennis for Two. I don't know about pre-Tennis for Two all that much. Like, I have my blind spot is like pinball, and then all the pinball machines getting thrown into the water in New York City, and then Tennis for Two. So
I'm actually missing out on the whole water thing. I'm going to tell you as well. I've done my research, but don't ask me to remember every goddamn.
Oh no!
I'm going to do my best.
No,
though.
That's not what this show's about. The show's about going through this history in our own way.
Yeah,
we do it in our own style.
Yeah, there's some fascinating stuff near the very beginning that I wish, I wish documents were better on some of the really fucking early stuff, because there's one thing in specific I would love to go more into. But anyway, that is tomorrow. And I really hope you guys get here at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, because I'm fucking excited for it. You guys pay for it. You guys come along. Big fucking shout out to Giant Pie, who paid for a huge fucking chunk of that last week. Of course, also Coop paying for a good chunk of it as well. Thank you guys both. Also, because you guys, for reasons beyond me, went beyond the stretch goal of getting a second Thought W episode happening. Me and Hollis are going to sit down on Friday with a special guest, and we're going to watch old 80 cartoon theme intros, and we're going to make fun of them for about an hour. So that's going to be fun.
That'll be rad. It's always fun.
Yeah, with a special guest. Ooh, who could it be? You'll find out. Anyway, Lindsay, any final words for today?
All right. As usual, don't forget to love each other, of course, from a appropriate social distance, wash your damn hands, stay out of trouble, wear a mask, be the change you want to be in the you want to see in the world, and just be cool.
Brian, final words this evening?
I will second Lynn's definitely on the washing your damn hands, wear your mask. Everybody, just be as chill as can be. Chill is hard to come by right now, but it's still out there from time to time. Other than that, you can follow me on Twitter at WonderboyOTM. You can read most of my writing over at outsports.com. Follow me on Twitter to find out where other stuff that I write is going to be ending up in places. And of course, you can also check out my LGBTQ pro wrestling podcast, LGBT in the Ring, that goes live every Thursday morning over on the Outsports podcast channel. So just search Outsports in your podcast service of choice, and you can get that along with all the other shows that we do over there. But mine's a wrestle show, and wrestling is good.
Absolutely.
Yes. Also, everything is evil. That's a wrestling thing. That's
Fair enough.
Oh my god. That I won't. No, I'm not gonna do it here. I'm not gonna do it here. Everything is evil, and I want to punch things. Anyway.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. Hey, spread the word, get it out. We love talking to all of the peoples out there, and we love the debate, frankly. And if you look at the doobly-doo down below the Mr. Video Games stream, you can find all of our Twitter handles, our Discord, where we do talks literally every fucking day about all sorts of bullshit. And just all of that. We love talking to people on the internet. That is what I'm trying to get at here, and discussing the politics and the video games and the media that we all love. Question mark? Is that the right word for that? Anyway, thank you everyone. Coop, Calverin, Joshua, all of our people who did listen and actually stuck through when the bit rate kept dipping into the negatives. This has been one of the most technically fun streams to be in. I thank you guys for joining us. Regardless, have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow.
Bye.